This brief tutorial will show you how to create a sketchpad widget to go in the book that you've been creating. So let's say you are ready to move up to the next level and start importing some widgets. What you do, if you want the sketchpad widget, is you log into Bookery and you go to your bookshelf. You find the book that it is that you're working on, which in this case we're still going to use Emma's Big Adventure, and open it up, and it will bring you to this summary page that I showed in a previous tutorial. What you're going to do is create a widget by clicking on the Add Widget button. You're going to scroll down to find the one that you want, which in this case, this is a sketchpad. You want to give your widget a name. I'm going to call this one Sketchpad 1. Now, here's something to note about widgets. There are static settings, which are things that you use to create your widget with to begin with, and then there are live settings. The difference between a static setting and a live setting is that the live settings can be changed very easily online and pushed out to your book very, very easily. So in this case, if you wanted to change the title of the widget after you'd already created it, you would do that in the live settings, and the next time the widget was launched, it would download an update. You can also choose sharing options. Right now, at the recording of this video, you can choose to have it be shared via email, Twitter, Facebook, or Evernote. I tend to take the Facebook and the Twitter integration off, just because I don't know how many schools even have Twitter and Facebook unblocked. So usually the email and Evernote are the best options. Evernote is great if they're keeping a digital notebook on their iPad. They can send their images right there. So if you want to create a blank sketchpad widget, you're actually all set. All you have to do is click on Save and download the widget to your book. And what this will do, I'll show you a preview on your screen. If you hit the Save and Preview, it'll give you a good example of what the widget looks like when it's in your book. So in this case, it's simply a blank sketchpad widget that lets them draw whatever they want by tapping their finger on the screen. Now this is great and useful in a lot of fronts, but let's say you have an image that you want them to color in or create a chart and graph. To do that, you go into your settings. Let's, for example, create a blank outline map of the United States that you want them to fill in. What I've done is I've gone to Google and I've found my Google image that I want, and I'll get it as big as I can get it, and then I will use the Snagit tool to actually capture this image. And here's why Snagit's so useful. You select the exact part of it that you want and it automatically goes in, right into Snagit. Now your image size for this you're going to want to change in Snagit by going to your toolbar, which is not on the screen that you can see here, but I have gone to Edit and I'm choosing Resize Image. The dimensions for the iPad screen are 1024 by 728. So when you apply that, it will stretch your image out. Now, your students can't actually do anything with this image until you give it a transparent background. So in Snagit, I'm clicking on the Fill tool, and I'm choosing this little white checkerboard, which means that when I click on the inside, now anything that has that checkerboard pattern against it, they're actually able to draw on, and they aren't able to draw out here outside of the image. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this by going to File and choosing Save. And you want to make sure that your drop-down box is set to a PNG file. That stands for Portable Network Graphic Image. And the reason why you want a PNG and not the others is because this transparency piece that's going to be very important in a minute is not compatible with the other image formats. So I'm going to call this America. I'm going to save it, and then I'm going to go back to Bookery. So when I go back to my Bookery widget, you see you've got the ability to change the cover image. I tend to leave this the same. You can change the startup image. I tend to leave that as well. But then you scroll down to where it says foreground image, and you're going to select the radial box next to custom foreground picture, and you're going to choose select image. You choose the file that you want, which in this case is america.png. You click on Done, and Bookery will upload that image for you. Now when I go to my Save and Preview, and it brings up what the widget will look like on the screen, I see a very different thing than I saw before. I see my blank outline map of the United States. Now here's why you want that transparent background, and here's why you save it as a PNG file. When coloring, I'm not being super careful here. Let me change my pen selector tool to something bigger. But you're only coloring inside those lines. Now, simply save it and click on the download button, and it will automatically download and go to your downloads folder. And you'll get this little message. I have this message popping up because I've already installed one. You're going to just hit cancel when this message pops up. And you're going to go to your book. So we're going to bring that up again. And from your downloads folder, you simply take the sketchpad widget and drop it wherever you want it in your book. Now I've dropped it in the wrong spot, so I'm going to delete this really quickly just by selecting it and hitting my delete key. And let's say I want this America picture to go right next to the quiz question. So again, I'm just going to drag and drop, and there it is. You can change the title of it. You can give it a description. And now when you preview your book, your students are able to do exactly what I showed you before on the screen. Draw simply in the widget.